Steve Show on Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio. Scott and Steve.
Are we live?
Scott and Steve.
Are you sure?
My microphone wasn't working before. I can't hear myself. Maybe I don't have it working here. No, it's working. Morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning. This is the Scott and Steve Show.
You wouldn't know it.
Is this what?
It's almost halfway through this semester.
It's our first or second time, I believe. We've had a lot of work going on here. It's
right.
Work getting away the fun. I can't imagine why. That's not
It's been busy this semester for us. We've never been. I think this is my first show this semester. You guys might have had a couple other ones.
I think we did one or two, but yeah. But we've been banned quite a bit.
Right. There's been a lot that happened in the sports world.
Yes, there has been.
Yeah.
I honestly, where do we start?
Well, I mean, do we want to go all the way back? I mean, we've missed so much. I mean, I don't know if it's worth like rehashing the Patriots' tremendous victory.
Tremendous.
I mean, that was
So much they were celebrating in Florida.
I tell you, denied.
No, they weren't denied. They were not denied.
They won it, man. They kicked butt.
I mean,
they did awesome. In fact, I think I won meals or something off that. Somebody owes me something. I know that. I don't know who owes me what.
That's
I know.
me.
That's you?
No. He owes me too.
Oh, all right. That's right. That's right. You're the Patriots. Right. That's right.
You waited until like after the Super Bowl to go in on that.
No.
Go back to the.
I went with the Pats and the AFC.
Go back to the email. Go back to the email. That's all we know. I just know I won something from Jeremiah, and I forgot quite honestly until just this moment. So we'll figure it out from there. But so that was big. Obviously, the Patriots winning. They did a really nice job from that aspect. The other thing that's happened that I think I predicted last year even, or maybe it was early this fall. I can't remember. The Kareem Hunt signed by the Browns.
You didn't really predict it. I think you said something to the effect of, "Wouldn't it be cool if?"
No, I think when the other guy was in here, I think I even promised him that was going to happen. Remember, because the other radio station morning guy.
Right.
Yeah. That.
So, what do you think about that, though? PR nightmare.
Nah, he'll be forgiven. He's a local kid. He'll be forgiven in no time. As soon as he goes out and performs somewhat decently.
Well, he'll be vindicated locally if that happens.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who are like, I'd like it, but
yeah.
And then get him his first 5 touchdowns, and this guy's great.
That's exactly
best thing in the world.
That's exactly right.
We're Browns fans.
He'll be back, and he's fine.
We'll see. I don't know.
This will all be a forgotten.
I know
unless he has another serious incident, this will all be water under the bridge.
It's no different than Gordon. And this isn't to pick on the Browns, but it's you have somebody who you've invested in a lot of money, a lot of talent, a lot of potential.
Well, only $1 million,
and you don't give them a handler, for lack of a better term, to protect that investment.
It's only a 1-year contract with $1 million on the line. That's not the most.
I play 16 football games for $1 million.
I think I would try as well.
I'd be on the practice squad for
$250
or whatever it is.
Right. Let him beat me up. I'm all right with that.
Wow, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of tough. I know the NFL's league policy on at least domestic violence. This doesn't necessarily legally quantify as a domestic dispute. It just involved a female, if you will. It wasn't his wife or girlfriend or anybody he lived
missed
with
the
for
nightclub
5 years.
one.
I forgot there was another incident too. But these aren't involving.
Actually, 3.
These aren't involving a wife though. Okay,
soccer punching a guy in the face.
But
to
that's
the
not
seriousness
time out.
of going to a hospital.
Time out. You're missing the point. It's a domestic violence policy. They don't have other conduct policies per se, except for maybe if they test for one of the small things that are in violation of the drug policy.
Well, interestingly you say that, because that's exactly what's happened with the Cowboys here over the last few days. They had a couple linemen that have tested positively, and one is being suspended, and that's Randy Gregory. He's being suspended, and the other guy, Irving, is under suspicion right now. They're evaluating it. But when you get suspended, you don't get suspended your first time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that means he's been found in violation, obviously previously.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So to your point, with Kareem Hunt, you're saying, well, 3 incidents. Okay, well, how many incidents did Josh Gordon have? How many incidents
Right.
There's
a lot of incidents. If you were to Google it, there's a lot of incidents, but there's also a fine line too, though, right? So, are these happening outside of the playing year? Are they happening in a certain context that the contract can't exactly cover?
Right.
I don't know, but people, yes, they hear about these things in the media and like, oh, the Browns should do this, the Cowboys should do that. It's like, well. How would you fare if something happened in your personal life and Lakeland decided to have an impact on that as well?
Oh, yeah.
So, you got to keep that in mind. Yes, they are public figures, but they are still employees of a higher organization.
Right.
So.
Right. Speaking of which, in the Patriots, Robert Kraft found
himself
in a little bit of trouble over the weekend. He's being charged, for prostitution, what have you, soliciting, I should say.
And I think the bigger thing is, because I was catching some of what is it, Barstool Sports, Barstool Sports online blog.
Yeah.
And God love the GM of that organization, but he apparently really loves the Patriots, or is a really big fan. But I think he put it best too. There's a component of this story that is not being heavily reported. Of course, Kraft is, right, because he was at the establishment when the raid happened.
Yep.
But on the same level, there was a huge human trafficking aspect to that facility that was going on as well, which actually tipped off, right? So it's not like they were looking at it from we're following Robert Kraft, or there's some nefarious activity going on at this massage parlor. They were looking at this place because of the human trafficking aspect of
exactly it. Right. That's
so
exactly
he
right.
kind of is, side dish to the bigger story that unfortunately through who he is, it looks bad because he's a prominent figure. It's a misdemeanor. It'll go away. Yep. If in fact, he is guilty of whatever they're alleging.
Well, he's denying it,
right.
Which is interesting. And of course, they're reporting that they have video. So it always amazes me how you get out of video evidence. I mean, this will be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, that wasn't me. I don't know who that is, but that's not me.
Right. So that'll be very interesting to see how that shakes out. Day of a playoff game, I might add, morning of. So, he's what, 76,
77? His wife's already passed, so there's really,
right.
Somebody, I mean, he's an adult, whatever.
Right.
So.
Yeah, if he was in Vegas, he'd have been legal and that kind of thing, but not in Florida. So, that's an interesting thing. So, Jeremiah, with that, I mean, we're giving a lot of examples here. I mean, now Kraft will probably get community service and a fine if he's found
if anything happens to him within the league, that's within the Owners Association. Or I think a lot of people are already, how should I say, speculating that Goodell is going to have his way. I think there's no love lost between the Patriots and the commissioner.
For sure.
So, and I've heard conspiracies that go as far to say that it was a setup to bring down the Patriots.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
I don't necessarily know if the NFL would be that in your face about it.
Nah, I can't see that. I mean, I don't buy that. But, bottom line is, what are they going to do? I mean, at the most, they'll fine them.
Right.
Of course, which money is no object to him, so it doesn't matter.
Not when you own the Patriots and the craft food industries.
He's billions heir, not just a 1 billion.
1 billion,
like
billions.
Yeah. So I don't think a $100,000 fine. He might have to reach into his left pocket for that one. I don't know.
He's probably in his change purse.
Yeah, right. But I mean, okay. So that goes on, and if Goodell has his way, if he truly does do it, I mean, he may try to get him suspended for. A couple of games, but
which is nothing to an owner.
No, because not only that, but his son is the one who's the president, who's running the operation.
Sure.
For the most part, anyway. So I mean,
that's right. Protect your investment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a non-issue, but I do find it interesting though how they'll try and bring that together. Mm-hmm. But a lot of incidents throughout, and what do you do with it? I mean. I don't know. I don't put a lot into it personally. Right. I think it's fine from that perspective. But
I do have to admit, this is a nice Lakers hoodie pullover type of thing. Is that a UA approved garment?
No, it is not. It is pre-contract.
Okay.
So
how is the contract going?
So far, it's going pretty well. We're in the process of upgrading a lot of our supplies, uniforms, obviously, and the gear that they have to practice in and travel and that kind of thing.
So is anybody rocking that new wear right now?
Oh, our basketball teams are over. Baseball, softball. Softball will have Under Armour uniforms this year. We're transferring over to BSN supplies for practice gear and that kind of stuff. So we're in that process right now. My plan is for next year, golf obviously will as well, but for next year to try to bring baseball on board from a uniform perspective. That's a big order.
Very cool.
And then the following year start to go after soccer.
Gotcha.
We'll see. Volleyball will transfer next year as well. That's a little easier to do than baseball.
Right. But, less gear involved.
Less gear and numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're talking. And that's the thing. If you're buying a uniform for 12 kids, you can't buy them for the 12 kids you have now. You know what I mean? Because in thinking about it,
you mean thinking of the future,
right? Because these uniforms got to last 3 to 5 years.
So you hand the uniforms down.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't keep them. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So with that in mind, you got to buy some bigger ones, some smaller ones, whatever. And so you're not buying. If you need 12, you're not buying 12. You have to buy 16. You know what I mean? With a few extras, one way or the other, and go from there. But,
sounds good.
But yeah, we're going in that direction. So, and speaking of Lakers, both teams have got one game left. We travel to Dayton on Saturday. We play Sinclair Community College. 1 o'clock tip for the women, 3 o'clock for the men. Honestly, we'll know for sure today where we find, but we're going to be in the Final Four. It's already determined.
Final Four.
The Final Four for our district.
So you just advanced to the Final Four?
We're advancing, yeah.
So you don't even play the
we don't have to play a play-in game, if you will. We don't now. Both teams did well enough.
Both of them are in the Final Four.
Both of them will be in the Final Four.
Yeah, all of them won 20 games.
Right.
Yeah, so they've had both teams have done really well from that perspective, and we'll know for sure who we play. Maybe as soon as Thursday, but other than that, it'll be Sunday. But we'll play the following Friday at Ohio Christian outside of Columbus. Women will play in the afternoon, just not sure what time yet.
Right on.
And the men will play in the early evening. So
do you know who you'll be playing?
It's not set yet. I think we're going to be playing Edison State, who we've split with.
Right.
So
should be a good game.
Should be good games, but it's not 100% sure yet. And that's both men and women. But we'll probably play Edison.
They both get a W. They're automatically in the championship.
Correct. And if they win that, they go to nationals. So
which is out in.
Okay, so the women are at North Arkansas Community College down Harrison, and the men play at in Illinois at Danville, Illinois.
Okay, so it's not. I want to say last time I remember they were like in Iowa or something.
No, that was also Illinois. That was Danville.
Was it?
Yeah, for the men. The men went to Danville.
Okay.
Yep.
It's just weird that it's in 2 different states.
Well, it's 2 different tournaments, and it's. I mean, the men's in NCAA, the men's Division I, the women's Division I, they go in different areas. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like Virginia C.
And they go on out. So it just depends. Division I, Division II, they're all in different spots. Like Division I is in Dallas. You know what I mean? And for the women, it just depends what's going on. But so this is Harrison's last year of their bid. Harrison, Arkansas. I as the chair for D2 women's basketball for the NJCA, I go to the nationals every year for that. So this is our last year there. Next year it moves up to St. Clair County Community College up in Port Huron, Michigan. Right. So next year I'll be heading up there for the nationals. So
we're going to bring it. You're going to bring it here to Lakeland.
That takes a pretty serious financial commitment to make it happen.
Okay.
So
how long is the bid for?
3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3-year bid. So it would have to do some. I'll be honest with you, because I sit in on that. I was surprised actually that St. Clair won the bid, and not because they're not. I mean, they just built a new facility.
Okay.
And so there's reasons why they won, and they'll do a great job. Dale Voss, the AD up there, is a good guy. He knows it. He knows the basketball very well, and he'll do well. St. Clair will be a quality host. However, the one question is the weather. You know what I mean? As you go up to Port Huron, you're going to have to fly into probably Detroit, and you're busting it. Yeah, busting it from there. And I mean, who knows what you're going to get, in the mid-March. You know what I mean? You can,
there's always Toledo, too.
In terms of
flying in.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, you're going to Port Huron. I mean, Detroit's probably the bigger airport, but I would assume they'll get better rates going there. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, they got beautiful facilities. So
even if we do not come out victorious on the last game, we're still in the Final Four.
Still in the Final Four.
Outstanding.
We're there, both teams, which is
give everybody
great.
a good rest.
Yeah. So we're off today. Today, Wednesday's usually game day, but we're off today, and we play. Like I said, we play Saturday, and then and it might be to the point where Saturday is a meaningless game,
right,
if you will, and that could be determined today by other games going on in the league. So in other words, no matter our win or lose on Saturday, it won't affect our standing, our position. And if that's the case, I would look for both teams to, rest not play a lot of players, and try to just get through the game with no injuries.
When's the last time both men and lady Lakers were
both made to the Final Four?
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. I have to go back to the history. It's
That'd
been a
tough.
while. It's been a while. We've had the men make it last year. The women made it last year. But to have them both there and both not have a play-in game,
right.
that hasn't. I don't know if that's happened in the last 10 to 15 years, quite honestly.
Cool.
It's good. They both had a really nice season, and we wish them luck.
Right.
They're doing a nice job. But we'll talk more about that next week, I'm sure.
On another Lakeland sport-related item, Patty McHugh just walked by the booth.
Patty, come on in, Patty. Cause,
I don't know if she can hear us out there. I don't know if the speakers are on, per se.
You would hope.
Well, I'm actually directing that as a rhetorical question to the manager, who should know his sound system.
Yes.
But Patty, if you can hear us,
come on in,
that's
Patty.
Not true, because I come in down the hall down there and you can't hear anything.
I hear that they might.
It's muffled down a little because that hallway's not big.
Right.
Well, I hear that they're thinking about having another dodgeball tournament. Yeah,
that's what I heard.
We got to get her on there.
She even stiffed me on an email reply.
Patty, she wants
us
to support her.
And that's coming to someone else that stiffed someone on an email reply.
I don't know. Half years.
3-4 times.
Half years are unintelligible, and I don't know if it's a question or a comment. So
no,
I really don't.
It's referring to something of someone stiffed someone on an email. 3 to 4 times.
Could be me, and I'm not sure if he's talking to me or you right now.
Might be wearing white.
Oh, he might be wearing white. All right. Since I'm not in white, I guess he's referring to Steve here.
Whatever. It's probably some raunchy jersey I'm supposed to wear.
Yeah. We got to do that at some point, or is it lost its luster, or what?
What? No, I'll fulfill it.
All right.
Just been obviously busy.
It's been busy
all
from that
aspect,
stuff, so. For sure.
Really doesn't mean anything anyway. So Jeremiah gets his kicks, so. It's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I see someone go by that can tell us if we're actually on out there.
I don't know.
Hey,
you.
Yeah.
You.
Which you?
Anybody.
You outside. Hey,
you'll know it. You'll know it when they, look at this.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Of course.
But so what else we got going on here? Baseball's going on. Spring training has started, and the Indians have signed Hanley Ramirez. I don't know if you remember him or not, but
not at all.
He was former Red Sox, was kind of released last year. Partway through the years, he was underperforming, and his lack of effort wasn't always was noticeable.
Right.
So Sox
let's sign him.
Yeah, he went the rest of the year playing for nobody because he thought he'd get picked right up by somebody because that, and he didn't get signed. So he came into the Indians on a minor league contract. So they got rid of Encarnacion and picked up Hanley Ramirez. I don't know if Indians are pitching still gonna be very good. I guess for a while, but Trevor Bauer he apparently he's going to be traded and is resigned to that fact that he's going to at some point either this year or at the end of the year, and he wasn't happy that he won his arbitration case, but wasn't happy because they talked negatively about him in the arbitration case. But that's what arbitration is.
Right.
The way it works in the major leagues, there's no in between. You want $20 million, they want to offer you $15 million. You're not going to negotiate 17. You had that.
He wanted to go the route.
Yeah, it's either you get it all, or you get none.
Yeah.
So which means obviously they're going to speak to the point that you don't deserve it, or if they felt you deserved it, they'd already given it to you.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you could be offended by that, but that apparently is the case. So we'll see if that has an impact on them. I think the Indians are going to struggle to score this year. I don't know if you guys are following it real tight yet, but
no.
it's going to be very interesting from that aspect. Watch out for the Minnesota Twins. They're getting better, and they may be there this year. Scary as that may sound.
See, the Rockies made a high dollar purchase.
They did. Nolan
230?
Yeah,
230?
280.
Oh, 280. Okay.
Oh, wait, 260. 260 because it was $32 million a year for Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly enough, I'll be curious to see how that affects the Bryce Harper dealings there.
Yeah.
Because Bryce Harper, for those who aren't aware, he turned down 10 years at $300 million from Washington, turned it down right as the season was ending. I mean, how do you turn down $300 million?
Especially in the 10 years.
Oh, boy. Manny Machado signed for 10 years, $300 million in San Diego.
Right.
So they're like, well, he's going to get more. Now that Nolan Arenado just got
Probably
32 a year, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if my advice, if I was the GM, do not sign Bryce Harper for 10 years and whatever. Don't sign him.
How does one justify that money?
You can't. You can't. Not only that, but let's be honest. If you look at his career, last couple of years, he's a 240, 250 hitter. It's not like he's tearing it up.
Right.
All right, he's got 30 dingers, 100 RBIs last year for the first time.
But Moneyball will tell you that it's not going to get you anywhere.
Exactly right. Do not do it. If the Phillies have been obviously the one that have been named the most with him. Don't sign him in Philadelphia. Don't sign him. Sign Kimbrel. Maybe go after Dallas Keuchel as another starting pitcher. Fill in with somebody else you need. You will get more wins than what you'll get from Bryce Harper, who's, by the way, also an average outfielder. It's not like he's a stud. You know what I mean? So I don't get it, man. An average outfielder and a decent hitter. I mean, a lot of hype from when he was young. But he hasn't done anything in the last couple of years. Come on, man. Wake up, guys. Yeah. Don't sign him.
All right. I got a topic.
All right, what we got?
All right, so we all know the demise of Chief Wahoo, and it was for reasons of basically getting the All-Star game.
Yeah, it was financial. And Chief Wahoo will be back within 3 years. Well, there's my prediction.
But here's the thing with Chief Wahoo, and this isn't the main point.
Okay.
A lot of people are upset. So you're still going to be able to buy.
Upset that he's gone or that he's left? I'm sorry, upset that he's gone or is not really gone.
He's not really. Well, it's misinformation, I think, what it is. Yeah. So they're upset. Yes, okay, the Indians organization removed that logo from the ball cap, the uniform, any time that they are playing.
Correct.
I do believe on national television.
Correct. Because they're still selling the stuff.
Right. But that's the thing. People are like, oh, this is crazy. Okay, listen, I get both sides of the argument. I really do, and it's not about getting into one of those sides right now. But what people don't understand is the Cleveland Indians are, having their cake and eating it too.
Oh, for sure.
Because they're doing it to appease MLB.
Yep.
Got the All-Star game. They're also appeasing the fans in the sense of, well, we're still going to be able to sell in the local market because we can't get rid of the logo. Because if we get rid of the logo after I think 3 or 5 years, it then becomes available for
anybody.
Public.
That's correct. And they're not giving up those rights.
They're not giving up those rights. So they still have to produce so much merchandise with Chief Wahoo on it in order to retain that logo.
Correct.
So
it's the
latest thing, and it breaks my heart because
they're probably betting on one thing. Sometime in the near future that would be able to bring it back.
He's coming back in 3 years. As soon as the All-Star game's over with, people won't be complaining. They'll be saying we want him back. It'll be back.
Which it's understandable. You'll want to lose a trademark on it.
I don't think so. Not in this climate. But one of the things that actually breaks my heart is one of the very special things about this region, and you might be able to validate this because we all, I don't want to say it for everybody who's listening, but Jeremiah and I grew up here. Stadium mustard. I love it. Mm-hmm. It's the best thing in the world.
Okay.
Well, it's one of the best things. I know all the fingers on my hand, it's one of the best things.
Okay.
So, Bertman's, the longest standing sponsor of Cleveland Indians baseball.
Okay.
Partnerships.
Yeah.
Recently changed their logo, their labeling. Okay. If anybody doesn't remember, they did have a Chief Wahoo logo on especially the Stadium Mustard line that they sell.
Okay.
Now this is the official Stadium Mustard at. I call it Jacobs Field, but Progressive. So many people might not know it, but there's a couple different offshoot brands out there. But Bertman's is the one that they actually sell.
Okay.
At the
stadium.
At the stadium.
Right.
So Bertman's came out and said, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, big surprise tomorrow. It's on Facebook. You could probably go on their Facebook page."
I didn't even realize that they did that.
Yeah. New label. So when they came out, obviously, what's the first thing that people notice?
Chief Wahoo's gone.
He's gone. I'm never buying your mustard. This is horrible. How could you do this? Everything under the sun.
Right.
And it's like, and they even came out with an official statement. Listen, obviously with trademark issues, we cannot use the logos. Basically, in a nutshell, Cleveland Indians said is you cannot use this logo anymore. Cease and desist.
Right.
If you still want to do business with us, you will not put this logo on the bottle. Now, rocking a hard place, right?
Right.
Because even if they said, no, we're keeping Wahoo, now you face litigation. Because now you're using a copyrighted...
Right, you don't have a choice here.
They're
as
pickle
a company.
in the middle.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to change the... they went with a very similar script to,
the C
and stuff like that. So, looks good. I mean, they have all different kinds of products other than just Stadium Mustard. But at the same time... people, it's just like you need to understand this wasn't Bertman's decision.
Right.
This was, if you're going to be upset with Cleveland Indians organization. You cannot be upset with any of their affiliate sponsors because those sponsors are bound
they don't have
contractually by what the Indians organization says.
Right.
It's funny because I was just reading all these rants and everything like that, and it was just horrible.
Yeah, that whole thing is crazy, and what I'll be interested to see is if there'll be and I have not heard it yet, which I find interesting. Will there be a group of individuals out there saying, "See, we got Cleveland to change their
Next
logo."
Up, Redskins.
Yeah, we got
Washington or no?
Yeah, Washington Redskins.
No, I'm thinking
Florida State Seminoles.
Florida, yeah.
Atlanta Braves.
I don't necessarily see. Well, the Braves changed their logo a long time ago.
Yeah, but they still celebrate and promote the tomahawk chop and everything else.
That's a fan started.
Well, Florida.
They sell the foam
that
stuff.
Didn't even start at Atlanta though. That started with Florida State.
Correct. That's been going on.
So the Seminoles, though, the Seminoles, obviously there's a very large Seminole population down in Florida. Yep. So to me, just like Cleveland Indians, it's a homage. I don't see the name being anything derogatory. I don't see the logo being derogatory. Obviously, I don't live down in Florida, so I'm not sure how the local market is down there. But, I get the point with Chief Wahoo. I do. I might not like it. It's part of tradition. A lot of people just they get so warm and fuzzy. Oh, it reminds me when I was a kid. Yes, it does. But at the same time, I get it.
Right.
Right. So, but yeah, that when I was following that thread with Facebook and Bertman's or a mustard, I was just like, people, you have got to be. You do not understand business then.
Right.
You just don't understand.
Well,
you're willing
that's
to
the
say people, and it's to the point where people are like, oh, well, I'm buying Stadium brand now. Why? Why?
Right.
They're not even the official mustard of the tribe.
They don't get it.
There's and it's like, number one, it's not. It's Stadium Mustard, but it's not as good as Bertman's. Nothing as good as Bertman's. I think even the Brown Stadium might even carry Bertman's. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
No.
I know it's the official at the Progressive Field, but I'm not sure who Cleveland Browns use.
Yeah, to your point though.
But nobody outside of Cleveland knows what Stadium Mustard is, right? Before you moved here,
you're correct. You're correct.
It's a regional thing. I'm not sure if a lot of people know that it is a Cleveland thing. Stadium Mustard is a Cleveland thing.
Right.
My brother lives in Ann Arbor. We have to either when he's down or whatever, we have to ship it to him.
Okay.
One of our old patrol officers who moved out to Arizona, I know his family ships it out to him.
Wow.
So you can't get it everywhere, or they just buy it online and have it shipped to themselves.
Sure.
But it's not available for purchase on store shelves.
Right.
Or somebody says, "Do you have any Stadium Mustard?" What is that?
Right.
It kind of goes back to years ago. I was down in Myrtle Beach during St. Patrick's Day time, and we were in line, and I'm like, man, I could go for a Shamrock Shake. So I, hey, get this and a Shamrock Shake, and the guy's like, "What's that?" I'm like, what do you mean, what's that? He's like, never heard of it. I'm like, you have never heard of a Shamrock Shake? He's like, sorry, dude, never heard of it.
Right.
So I pull up.
I didn't realize Shamrock Shakes were
it's a regional thing.
I didn't realize that.
They don't have them everywhere. And he explained to me that a lot of their items are regional.
Right.
And they have no idea. So I look up, do a little bit of research on my own, and there is a large, obviously Irish population in northeastern United States.
Right.
Obviously Boston. And,
right. Because that's my main areas I'm in. That's why I'm saying, man, Shamrock Shakes are everywhere. What are you talking about? Yeah. Interesting. That's very interesting. But yeah, to your point though, I mean the Indians they're not losing out on this at all.
Oh no,
they're not losing out, and it's interesting
people
that
will get over it
tomorrow. Maybe even today.
Right.
It's already old news.
Right.
Yeah, people go on with things so quickly. It's unbelievable from that aspect. Yeah.
Right.
So now you were going to be a business major, right? You were talking about getting into that.
Yeah.
What do you think about all this?
With the whole logo, all that going on.
That and the mustard
and
the
mustard aspect.
Yeah.
Well, here I'll go with the mustard thing first. In a way, it 100 makes sense. Makes sense. They're going to tell you what to do. If you want your stuff in their stadium, you're going to go buy it for one reason.
No different than here.
Right.
They can go, and it's probably, depending, who knows what the contract says, but probably, they have saying, about whatever, what you put on it, or, approval of, the logo or something.
Right.
And that, we don't know that. That's in between, those two sides that we'll
that actually is pretty clear because it's copyrighted, and if they're saying we can't do it at the stadium for that thing, well then
right.
It's not even
pretty much.
That's no different than WB Mason, because they have the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. Right. So anything that WB Mason would put out showing that partnership, that affiliation, the identifiable logo, they can't use. I mean,
got to get rid of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you would do anything, right? I mean, if you own a mustard company and you got in a solely Progressive field only, almost 90, 91 days out of a year, you have potentially 40,000 customers at your disposal on someone else's
even
time.
Outside of that, you
saying.
get, still,
it's crazy.
X amount of people throughout the year that still do it, and their cookouts, their 4th of July parties, and blah 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 blah.
No, I'm just saying in regards to just the Indians proper.
Right.
Well, that or even those new people that didn't know that you were a thing even in the first place. They go there, they get a hot dog, and it's like, oh, what the heck? I'll go put that on. There's nothing like
a stadium dog with stadium mustard and stadium mustard on a hot pretzel.
Do
you like it?
I'm not a mustard guy. I gotta tell you. See, I come here where hot dogs I love them, but mustard ketchup, I don't. I just eat them plain, man.
Really?
Plain.
Wow, you're an anomaly.
Yeah. In fact, I like to put American cheese around my hot dogs, like I wrap them in them, stuff like that. But I don't put anything else on them. No.
I don't know.
Relish.
Maybe listeners out there, who here is a mustard fan? I mean, I pretty much put mustard on everything. I don't do ketchup, but when it comes down to a hot dog, it's got to be a stadium mustard.
My son is a big mustard fan. Yeah. I am not. No, I don't put things on most of my foods, quite honestly.
Right. Actually, one of the best places, and I'm plugging another ballpark here, but PNC Ballpark has the best hot dog I think I've ever had at a sporting facility.
Yeah, PNC's not
It is
good.
the Cuban dog. It is a foot-long pretzel bagel bun with hot dog, bacon.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness, it's escaping me. Chunks of ham, cheese, onions, a jalapeno. It was one of the best hot dogs I've ever had.
And that's one of the things I try to do because as you two I think know, I try to go to new stadiums every year, one or two a year, and when we go out there, it's usually my son and I. We try to, all right, what is this stadium or this area known for?
Right.
Let's try that, whatever it happens to be. You know what I mean? You go to Fenway, you got to get Fenway Franks. You go, the pretzel up in Miller Park, the brats or whatever. I mean, so we try to do that as well. You can't do everything. It's just too expensive, but we do try to do that. So it's interesting.
So if anybody goes, I'll save you the hassle. It's actually on the right field.
Right field line. Okay.
Not line. It's about middle right field area of the concessions overlooking the river.
Yep.
It took us about a good hour to locate which stand.
Okay.
Because it's only one. They don't sell it all.
Okay.
It's one specific stand.
All right.
And this is and that is actually, like you said, what that park is known for as far as food wise.
Right.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
So
very cool. Well, what about talking about other? I don't want to switch out on that.
No. Go ahead.
Last Chance U. You've been following Last Chance U. What's been going on?
Never even heard of it.
Okay, so Last Chance U is like a show that goes on, and what they do is they this past year they interviewed community college out in Kansas and how they are essentially what they say last chance university. So students who have been kicked out of 4-year colleges for whatever reason, haven't made it or whatever reason, that's just an opportunity for them to stay on and play. And they've had some success out there, and their coach just had to resign. Football coach just had to resign as he made some comments that were not well received. Essentially.
So the coach doesn't get a second chance at Last Chance U?
That's exactly. that's the ironic, isn't it? But essentially, one of the players that was German, he was riding him a little bit, and essentially he came out somewhere along the lines, let him know that, hey, when it's reported to me, I am your Hitler now, or something like that, and that didn't go over well.
Right.
So he wound up having to resign and stuff. That just happened, I think, this past week.
Okay.
Actually, and
is this a program? I mean,
it's
like a TV program?
Yeah, the Last Chance U is actually a television program that goes out as well.
Okay.
But it highlights some different programs throughout where they give these kids opportunities and stuff. To be last chance.
Right.
And it's interesting. The reason why I bring it up, we were talking earlier about second chances and all this kind of thing is I was reading through the blogs afterwards of all the students that came out in support of him. Mm-hmm. Past players, past everyone, and said, hey, he's hard on you.
Support the coach, you mean?
Support the coach,
okay.
Yeah. He's hard on you, whatever. And I found it ironic because a lot of the people who came out, they have their pictures on their posts or whatever, are African American,
right.
And so I just found it, I found it really ironic in that, okay, they support him, which I thought was great. However, with all that's been going on with the racial stuff in the last couple of years, for them
right.
to come out and say, well, though that goes on, we still support this because the guy works hard for you and everything. And I just thought that was really an ironic piece. I'm not saying right or wrong.
Right.
I just thought it was interesting, the support he got. I actually thought it was pretty neat that he got support from a diverse group of students, especially in today's political arena. But
with everything that's going on in our society.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I guess I need to restate what I.
Yeah.
No, I just kind of try to keep it more real.
And that sometimes makes me wonder though too. Is
we greasing the wheel? Squeaky wheel. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean,
not the majority, the squeaky wheel.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, there are definitely issues socially, racially, and so on and so forth, right? But is it to the level, right? Mm-hmm. So I might live in a bubble. I don't know, mm-hmm. But I don't deny, I'm not ignorant to the fact that it does exist. But is it to the level that the Uber media purports it to be?
Right.
Because I always try to explain to people, whether it's police related, whether anti-police, pro-police, whatever the topic is, they're after sensationalism. Right. They're after the story that's going to grab your attention or grab your emotion. Right. Most of the time, it's based on emotion, whether that's anger, fun, what have you. But most of the time, it is a controversial.
Right.
Tune in at 11. So you tune in at 11, and the next thing you know, they're going to put it last because they got you hooked.
Right.
It's all for ratings. It's all for show. It's all to get you to tune in. So. I don't know. Yeah. I sometimes just deduce to live my life as I should, and try not to get caught up in the hubbub or false hubbub. Right. Life's too short. It really is.
You're better off anymore reading stuff than it is to actually watch a news channel.
I don't know about
That's
that
what
either.
I came to it.
I think I think you have to just honestly, you have to treat every story like it is a research project. And I'm not kidding.
Well, I'm not saying that.
No, but you have to treat every story like it's a research project. Because you have to take what you hear, go to multiple different trusted sources, find out the truth, and then make your own opinion. But unfortunately, we live in a 24-hour news cycle that is something new every 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, they don't even report long enough because they don't want to,
right?
Waste too much time on something because they already know it's already old news by the time they report it. So
the other aspect of it, a key point is trusted news source.
Right. What is it?
Name one.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Everyone can get picked on that.
Right. They're all businesses, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And they're all in the market to save money. And I'll give you a perfect example, right? So I was watching a program the other day, and they were talking about this New Deal that Congress kind of they haven't put it up for vote, but they're talking about it, right? And then the Washington Post is like, blah, 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 blah. The Washington Post is kind of opining right about it, and it's support of this bill, which is no problem. Right. The environment, this and this and that,
right.
It'll cost this. I'm like, why isn't the Washington Post stop printing paper then?
Great point.
I mean, if you're worried about the environment,
right.
If we're worried about the environment, right?
Right.
Why do we continue to do stupid things? I mean, in today's day and age of electronics,
right?
Go all online with your newspaper. Stop print media.
It's sort of that catch-22 of you got
there's no catch-22.
Well, in a way of you got the older, generation that they're, 85 and they never, they sit there, they write letters. They don't send emails. You want to lose that one person?
But here's the thing. They're going to be lost, right? Do we hold on for how many years to a form of, I actually, no offense, man, I thought the internet was going to put libraries out of business a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
I really did. I mean, I don't know how libraries are still hanging on. I'm a student too. I log into my Youngstown. I log into Lakeland.
Right.
So, even though I'm a Youngstown student, I do utilize the Lakeland Library a lot for their online resources. And there's a lot of information sharing between the different libraries. I don't have to set foot to get the research I need.
Right.
So, and this isn't picking on a library. This isn't picking on the newspapers in
it's
general.
Just a fact.
But what I'm saying, though, is
well, I'm sort of pointing out that fact of you got here and there's still that, older generation
I get it.
You're never going to get them. Like the best example, I'll go and say, my uncle, he's, he now just retired in October.
Right.
And that, he had the old school, like flip phone like him.
Clamshell.
And, the funny thing is it went. He's now with this.
He had to.
He just
it's no longer supported.
You don't have a choice, right?
It's
and
no
the one
supported.
thing,
right.
He just wants, he doesn't text, he doesn't anything.
Right.
It's simple, old school. That you're never going to break
Jeremiah,
people those
but
habits.
time out a minute. You're standing up for something, and you have to remember, going back, let's just say to the 1900s. There are so many things out there that in the 1900s that transitioned that eventually just went away because people stopped.
Oh, it's going to go away at some point in time.
It's not
going to happen in the
recent. You got a very small part of the population that doesn't know how to use a computer or log onto the internet. More places in this country are connected via the internet in their homes than they have a home telephone anymore.
That's correct.
Okay, so you can't sit here and say, well, we still got the older population. You know what? Educate them. Let them go to the library. Do something.
Well, you see it. Libraries offer, the basic computer classes, how to work things, and that.
I get it.
Not everyone's still going to go to that.
Here's the thing. You're missing it. And I don't even know where I was going on it, but Washington Post, news sources, whatever,
right.
Fake news, whatever you want to call it. Everything's fake news because everything's got a spin and everything's got a slant. People are businesses. Businesses make money, and that's the business they're in. So they're going to do everything they possibly can to make money. I don't know of any organization, whether it's radio, TV, print, that isn't owned by somebody. Except for this, really. I mean, it's owned by the students, but even you guys had to conform and stream rather than broadcast.
Well, you really didn't have the choice.
Well, back in the day they used to broadcast, but back in the day they used to broadcast.
No, I found out that it was never the only antenna here was a ham radio.
Well, that's for the ham radio club that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I found out deep down in the history of Lakeland, there was never an FCC license or anything.
Oh, you guys have evolved.
So,
but anyway.
So yeah, had no choice on that point.
I don't know. How many listeners we got now? How many people are listening right now?
Depends. I got to go look through the 3 different accounts.
Oh, my goodness.
I wouldn't sweat it. But, hey, anything else exciting going on we want to get at?
No. NASCAR started up. I think Denny Hamlin won that one.
Okay. All right.
Daytona, obviously. I know you're not.
Not huge, but I can half loose keep
I can't remember where they were this weekend. I think they were down in Atlanta. They were worried about rain. I'm not sure what happened with that.
Right.
Baseball's gearing up like we talked about.
Hockey, baby. Hockey.
March Madness coming up a couple weeks. So a lot of teams putting the icing on the cake here with their season, and hopefully they get the seed they're looking for. But we should have plenty to talk about.
We should at least mention that Zion Williamson still not playing for Duke.
Right. I heard the kid over in the Philippines got fired.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Well,
I don't know.
That means the company just saved 5 cents an hour.
Right.
Zion Williamson,
the Duke player, the Duke shoe,
yeah.
the Nike
the shoe blew
bust out.
Probably the number 1 or 2.
Be honest, I can tell you one thing. I haven't paid attention to any Nike ads or.
Well, it's not an ad.
It's not an ad. It's Sports Center. It's all over. It's all over the sporting news.
So the last time I seen Sports Center, long time ago.
So Zion Williamson, he's a number 1, maybe number 2 pick in the NBA draft projected for this upcoming year, and he was in a game and when playing, he was looking to cut in his shoe. The bottom of his shoe literally came apart from the rest of his shoe. He went out and sprained his knee.
Injured himself.
Yeah, he sprained his knee, and so they beat Syracuse there the other day, but they lost to Virginia Tech last night without him, and so that was good. Go Hokies. But
shameless plug.
But the question now is because he's a true freshman, and the question becomes,
redshirt him?
Oh, there's no way he'll redshirt. No, because he's gone after this year. He's going to get drafted.
You think?
Oh, for sure. He's going to be number 1 or 2 pick in the draft.
We'll see how that goes. I'm not the draft, but his career after.
Well, I don't know how his career is going to go, but he's going to be the top 2
it's
pick.
It's a 50-50 shot on that on his career. If he goes right out.
He's going out. There's no question. There's no way he'd be this injury.
After this, he'd be stupid to stay in.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, this even drives that home. And so it's funny. You talk about who's to blame and stuff. So there's a lot of NBA players in there saying the NCAA, they're ripping the NCAA for these kids being in a 1-year rule. That's not an NCAA rule.
That's an NBA rule.
It's an NBA rule, Right. So that's the thing is, and even the NBA players, they don't get it. You talk about misguidance. They're ripping the NCAA. It's not an NCAA rule. It's the NBA wanted the kids to play for them right out of high school. Change the rule.
That's like the NFL.
You can do it.
The NFL dictates when they can come in.
Exactly. And it's the same concept. But with
the hilarious thing is one thing. I guarantee a few of those people complaining about it are the ones that actually went in after 1 year.
No,
I mean, it's. Either way, it's just crazy. But the question becomes now and this is what's going on is NBA players, not all for sure, but some are telling him, don't play again the rest of the year. Don't play. Even though you're healthy, don't play. And I get it.
There's some credence to that.
There is.
But where's the team then?
Well, that's it. And that's what bothers me about the whole thing is.
It's no different than Michigan. The Michigan games.
Exactly.
We had 2 or 3 of our star players sit out during the bowl game.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that's why we lost, but I'm sure it had maybe some kind of contributing aspect.
It's an impact for sure.
But it's like, okay, I get you don't want to get hurt, but so you play the whole entire season and then you just say, never mind.
Right.
Come on.
I'm not a fan of that, and I understand there's millions at stake. I guess, and I'm not in that position, so I guess it's easy for me to say.
Depending on his injury, he might not be able to play.
If he can't medically do it,
right.
That's one thing.
Sure.
But if he's able to play, in my eyes, you play.
Right.
I mean, come on. I mean, that's what you're there for. They're giving you a year's worth of education. You in my eyes, you owe it to him to play. But I don't know. We'll see what he does, though. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he does. But
poor
again,
kid
easy.
He's lost his job.
Say that. Yeah, I know. Now he's going to have to work for
Reebok.
3 cents an hour. Oh boy. All right, guys. Let's close this up here. Anything we want to hit real quick? Anything coming up? Coffee to Cops.
Yeah, it's actually Coffee with the Cops today.
Today, what's going on today?
At noon in the CLI, which is A2100 for people who are not sure what the CLI is.
Yep.
The topic for today is going to be how to be a good witness. Right.
Oh.
Very often in law enforcement or the public service, whether it's be fire, EMS, what have you. it's very tough to get a good eyewitness account,
Sure.
whether it's over the phone by a person calling in or when you actually have somebody after the fact that witnessed something and, okay, now time to put it in paper. Tell me what happened.
Right.
Well, it turns into this guy or this lady.
Right.
Okay, can you expound on that? Can you tell me what they looked like? What were they wearing? What were they doing? I don't know. There's some guy.
Yeah.
Wow, you just really narrowed it down,
Right.
So it's actually very important, and it's
Right.
important on a couple different levels. One is because that studies have proven that poor eyewitness account has contributed to, and I can't remember the exact stat. I have it in my presentation because I'm the one who's actually doing it today.
Okay.
Has contributed to false convictions at the hands of eyewitness testimony.
Sure.
So it does play an important part, and one of the challenges with eyewitness account, especially in public service, is when I ask you to tell me what they look like, a lot of people like to skirt certain things because of certain labels, and they don't like labeling people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But at the same time, we're also looking for direction of who are we looking for.
Right.
Right. So it has changed law enforcement in that sense within the past 5 to 10 years. It's different from when I started.
Right.
Now there's just social, moral, certain things that people don't like to get involved. So anyway, that's today at 10 o'clock.
Well, and to that point,
I'm sorry, noon.
Noon. Okay. To that point, as someone who's also had the opportunity to try to collect different people's viewpoints on one incident.
Right. Everybody's got a different story.
Everyone's got a different story.
Got a
Same
different story.
incident, everything's different for sure, and major differences.
Well, there's a lot of physiology along with it too, because studies also show that during a time of sudden and instant stress or anxiety, your body goes into that fight or flight mode that we all know about. But what happens in the brain is the brain stops retaining. Right, because it's getting you through the situation it needs to get you through. Right. Memory is not one of those things. So if you're in a traumatic, event, trying to ask what happened, that's why some people just like, I don't know, I don't remember, or they don't have the details. Like, how can you not remember what the guy who hit you in the face looked like?
Right.
I just don't know. I don't,
So, and then they think and guess or what have you.
And they come up with
I know I've done that
They
as
like
well.
to fill in the memory blanks, if you will, and 9 times out of 10, it's not true information.
Right.
So definitely stop by 12 o'clock noon at the CLI. There's some light refreshments, coffee, water, some sodas. But
will there be any reference to My Cousin Vinny?
No, but I should have used that in my PowerPoint.
All right,
when they're on the stand.
Yeah.
My goodness, man, that's my wife's favorite movie of all time.
Is it really?
I should have. What's these things on these?
Well, he's going to be busy after this.
No, I'm not redoing the whole PowerPoint. It's not long to begin with, but it should be a decently short topic, 25 to 30 minutes. It's a topic that it is what it is. There's really not much to per se expound on. It's just arming people with good information. So.
Sure.
Other than that,
well, I hope you're able to educate the Utes.
Yes, the two Utes. March. April. April, we do have a RAD training session coming up. It's the first weekend in April.
Okay.
The dates escape me right now, but we'll be back on the air more.
Yep.
It's open to all ladies. In not just Lakeland, not just students, faculty,
Hold
staff.
on a second. Karen Stovacek, can you hear us?
But
Karen Stovacek, if you can hear us, wave in there. She's smiling,
there she
so
is.
they're all right. All right,
apparently can hear us.
All right, there we go.
So Jeremiah is doing his job. The speakers are working.
All right. Hi, Karen.
So it's open to the public, not just the Lakeland community here, but it's open to women, and it's basic steps in self-defense for ladies should they find themselves ever attacked. So,
Very good.
I'll be coming up with more information on that. But that's the first weekend in April.
All right. Is there a college fair going on today?
Yeah, transfer fair.
Transfer fair. All right. I see a bunch of tables down there, so they're looking
all
for
different
transfer.
4 years.
Yep.
We'll be down there.
So students, come check that out. You want to move on to a 4-year after here? Check it out. Absolutely a good thing to do down in the atrium.
Holden will actually be over there.
Oh.
About the partnerships and all that.
They're going to be downstairs?
Yeah.
Across the street? They're not coming over?
No, they're coming over.
Oh, okay. Very good.
I would hope so.
So we see Christina then?
I don't know. Probably not. It'd probably be Connie.
No. Yeah, Connie.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's the one that deals with all that
okay.
stuff.
All right.
I do want to report, still getting A's.
Look at this guy.
Still.
You are brain surgery. You know, it's all that worldly experience. You're messing up the curve. You're still messing up the curve of all those poor students like Jeremiah.
Not really.
You still getting A's, Jeremiah?
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good.
Are there any classes that are still left for you to take? I don't know. Did they add any new ones to the curriculum?
This guy just never gets.
I think I'm going to take a class over the summer or something like that, just to see if I can still get an A.
You should.
I want to do that. I don't know what to take though. I'll have to think
one of the coolest classes that I've taken so far was through Jeff Rogers, who's no longer here. Jeff recently left to better himself, but it was the world music class, and very cool, very cool. Online though, so you didn't have to come back or anything like that.
Right.
Definitely. I mean, it was obviously I took it for school purposes to attain my degree, but at the same time, it was one of those that it didn't feel like, it was school. It was you're just improving yourself and your knowledge base.
Right,
so,
right. Like that.
Gotta like that. Very cool.
Awesome. All right, guys, just banging out here.
You guys have a great week.
Yeah, and nice weekend here, and go Lakers.